Horrifying moment. What happened to make Yecenia Gómez jump off the bridge in front of everybody? How does it sound to know you leapt off a 150-foot bungee jump bridge with the harness you had on never hooked to a rope? Horrifying to witness, isn't it? Well, this same experience was the tragic story of 25-year-old Yecenia Gómez as she fell 150 feet to the bottom of a rather sketchy-looking bungee jump bridge. Sadly, she had been met and terrified with the terror of these moments that had haunted her up to the point of her untimely death. Now listen, this is one of the most complex stories ever, as the moments leading up to this had been fueled with a layer of fear, terror, and a deep sense of helplessness that would leave her partner in a shock he never anticipated. But still, why did she jump? What compelled her to take the leap? Well, watch the end of the video, as this is the true tragedy of what happened to make Yecenia Morales Gómez jump off the bridge in front of everybody. It all started when 25-year-old Colombian lawyer Yecenia Morales Gómez told her boyfriend that she wanted to go bungee jumping. And so, for her boyfriend, having noticed that Yecenia was pretty serious about her desire, he then took the opportunity to capitalize on this. You see, for her boyfriend, also, he had never bungee jumped before. And deep down, he really wanted to explore this thrill-seeking adventure. But he couldn't without his girlfriend, and so he promised they'd both experience the experience at a later point. Right away, he called the Amagá bungee jumping company in order to get a slot booked for himself and Yecenia to jump off their bridge as they had planned on earlier. Little did they know their long-awaited adventure would soon take an unexpected turn. Now, ordinarily, the sky bungee jumping in Amagá, located in northern Colombia, didn't seem appealing or rather safe enough for the yet-to-be couples. So you see, just outside of the popular tourist town of Amagá in northern Colombia lies this thick green jungle. And if you know where to look further, you'd find out there is actually a walking path that leads you from Amagá deep into this jungle. As you continue going, that path will lead you all the way to this rather terrifying looking and enormous old railroad bridge that spans this huge ravine. Now, it's noteworthy that this bridge is no longer used by trains. It had remained inactive and had begun to corrode since it had been decommissioned, even further making it look like a dud, which was also supposed to spark desperate concerns for the yet-to-be couple who had just wanted to try out the extreme sport for the first time. Unfortunately, it didn't, for reasons you'd see soon in this video. Interestingly, since the time the bridge was decommissioned, there's actually been, ironically, more traffic on this bridge, although it is the foot traffic variation. Not only do people come out, they do so in hundreds just to have a chance to go bungee jumping at the Amagá bungee jumping in northern Colombia. And now, for the yet-to-be couples who had maintained a particularly close-knit romantic relationship for a while, the day came they were supposed to jump. Sunday, July 18th, 2021. In the early hours of the day, Yecenia and her boyfriend hopped in their car and they drove an hour south to Amagá. And upon getting there, they first met the walking trail that made them find their way out to this bridge. Next, as they got out of this bridge, they were amazed at the number of people who were already in line on this bridge, waiting to jump off it. Ideally, they knew this was a popular spot, but perhaps they didn't realize just how popular it was. And soon after the harsh reality, Yecenia and her boyfriend got in line behind the nearly 200 other jumpers ahead of them, and they proceeded to wait. Several hours then passed, with them still waiting. But this moment quickly came to an end, as Yecenia and her boyfriend would have front row seats, all of the jumpers ahead of them jumping off the bridge. Particularly, Yecenia in her mind had thought if she arrived at this bridge, very quickly she and her boyfriend would leap off and it would be great and so much fun. Now here's where the story gets better. So listen, having that, they had been forced to wait for a really long time. And this whole time, they're watching other people jump. Yecenia is starting to panic. The long-due excitement and anxiety soon turned otherwise as suddenly bungee jumping looked terrifying. All of a sudden, it did not look like something she wanted to do again. And so Yecenia was beginning to second-guess her decision. But her boyfriend, the calm, gentle guy that he was having, made promises to fulfill the thrilling moment. He tried to calm her down and he's telling her, oh, it's totally safe. I mean, take a look at all these people who have jumped. Nothing makes it feel unsafe. They all look fine after, smiling and happy as well. You're going to be so proud of yourself after this. But despite all of the best efforts he made to calm his girlfriend down, Yecenia just could not calm down. It had occurred that she did tell her boyfriend that she's not about to back down. Yecenia then, being super motivated about her whole thought process, she'd mentioned to her boyfriend she was going to go through with this. But nevertheless, several hours still went by again, this time in a totally high-stress and anxious awaiting moment. But now the moment they had been waiting for arrived. Finally, Yecenia and her boyfriend were called upon by the bungee jumping staff member, to which the both of them then reached the front of the line. Normally at this point, it felt usual for the staff members to have been doing this all day long. But for the boyfriend and Yecenia mostly, it felt different but equally surreal, as this would be their first time they had tried this before. And then, after, both of them got a signal from the staff to step forward and get their harnesses on. And so Yecenia and her boyfriend then made their way to the edge of the platform. At this point, both are looking out over this ravine, and the staff members are putting on their harnesses, getting them ready, as you would expect. To think that the whole time Yecenia already began to get tunnel vision as she stepped closer to the edge, and well, her boyfriend noticed this sensation in her, but rather felt the feeling came as a norm and it would wear away after the jump was completed. However, it didn't go as he thought, as Yecenia began to panic even more. She doesn't think this is fun at all and she just wants to get this over with. Here is even where it became crazier. At some point, one of the staff members finally says, "Okay, jump." But who was the jump? Well, let me explain. Allegedly, when the instructor called out a signal to her boyfriend, she thought the signal to jump was for her, and so Yecenia jumps, except it would turn out Yecenia had made a mistake. The staff member who had said jump was talking to her boyfriend, not Yecenia. But then, at the point of jumping off the bridge, her harness wasn't attached to a rope that was supposed to spring her back up after reaching an appropriate height close to the ground. Having that the staff members had only put her harness on, the actual elastic rope that was supposed to go to her ankles had only been present on her boyfriend and not her. And so when Yecenia jumped, there was nothing stopping her from smashing into the ground as she plunged down. Unfortunately, she came diving into the ground at about 150 feet high head first, and what followed was the disturbing thud of the impact of the concrete floor below the bridge. Yecenia, who had always wanted to explore the bungee jumping reality, had reportedly misunderstood her instructor, and she totally panicked. She had just not understood and had left believing they were telling her to jump. But tragically, upon the deadly fall, it was nearly impossible for the 25-year-old Colombian lawyer to survive the sickening impact. You see, as soon as she leapt off the bridge, her boyfriend ripped off all of his gear around him, ran down the bridge, and in fact, even leaped over the railing in the shock of what he just witnessed. Sadly, Yecenia's boyfriend couldn't believe his eyes, and he ran down the hillside all the way to the bottom of this ravine. And when he finally got to his girlfriend, freaking out as he rushed down to her, he started performing CPR on her absolutely immediately, and even ended up getting treated for injuries at the hospital he had sustained getting down from the bridge to her. I mean, it's obvious, he loved her to the core of his good heart. However, it was already too late. She was already gone. But then, here was the situation of 25-year-old Yecenia Gómez. You see, still there had been major questions as to why she would jump. However, the hospital said she passed away from cardiac arrest on the way down, which makes you wonder, did she realize on her way down that she wasn't attached? Could it be possible a command was yelled out by the staff member when she wasn't attached yet to a rope that would prevent the tragic incident? What happened to her? Why would she jump? Like I said earlier, this is the part of the story you should pay attention to. Something had to have happened to make her jump. And that's what makes this story even more difficult, which seems crazy. Now, in fact, some people are trying to make this a conspiracy that she jumped in order to end it all. I mean, the local mayor, Gustavo Guzman, of the municipality of Fredonia, Antioquia in Colombia, where the Amagá Sky bungee jump was located, would then come out to say she got confused. They had only put the harness on her, so she got confused and rushed, he said. It's so painful that the tragedy was as a result of a misunderstanding. And come to think of it, how did she get it mixed up if this is true? Because literally the fear of what was about to happen to her killed her as she jumped. In fact, the company in cooperation with the investigation had released a statement disclaiming that at the time of the accident, nobody jumped, neither her nor her boyfriend or anyone else. And our protocol is designed for single jumps with only one person per jump, which in turn means that in order to jump, a person must finish everything related to the previous jump. Now, what makes it even more confusing is that for the company, they're saying we never gave a command for her to jump. She wasn't even hooked up to the harness. But why did she jump then? Because now the staff members are saying nobody else jumped, and they didn't because there was no command given. However, till date, nobody really knows what happened to make Yecenia Gómez jump off the bridge in front of everybody. And sadly, Yecenia's brother recalled that his sister was an entrepreneurial woman who loved to read and dance. He said, "My sister is a girl with all the best values, happy, spontaneous, with virtues that made her love her friends and help people in need." She was later buried after a ceremony that took place right there in her neighborhood where she lived with her family. Now, you see, in the grand scheme of things, there is a chance of one death in every 500,000 jumps, which sounds relatively rare. And what this also means is that a person is more likely to be struck by lightning than to die in either of these thrill-seeking activities. But despite this, fatality victims such as Yecenia Gómez have explained one death is proven inevitable. Sadly, we are yet to uncover if the Amagá company made their claims to protect their business, because if true, Yecenia's boyfriend would most certainly prove otherwise, because he would desire to solve this case as he was the only living witness. So does it mean Yecenia tried to then end it all? What were the moments leading her up to this action? Well, as they'd say, there's more to find out. Rest in peace, Yecenia Morales Gómez. But what do you think about this tragic story? Do well to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well so you don't miss out on whenever we upload a newer video. As always, thanks for watching this video and supporting this channel. We highly appreciate your support, as this is not an AI channel and every video is thoroughly researched to ensure accuracy. Until next time, that's going to do it.